For now, this is her home. Priyanka lives in one of the better parts of the Dharavi slum. She was born here, and so was her mother. Priyanka is 7 years old. She shares this 20 square meter house with her parents, her uncle and his family, and her grandfather. Altogether, there are 8 of them. Priyanka's mother works the night shift in a call center. She earns the equivalent of 400 euros a month, but that's not enough for an apartment outside the slum. Priyanka's in the 3rd grade, and she already knows what she wants to do when she grows up.
To become a doctor or engineer.
That totally depends upon her interest. I'm not going to enforce or force her to do this or that, because the kids have to come up on their own interest.
But in Dharavi, Priyanka's prospects aren't good. It's home to barely a dozen schools, and that's not enough for the many thousands of children who live there. Most of them drop out of school in order to earn a few extra rupees for their families in the district's many single-room factories. Living conditions are appalling. The rivers running through Dharavi are contaminated, there's no functioning sewage system, and disease lurks everywhere. But there's not a single hospital here in Asia's largest slum. Mukesh Metha is an architect and describes himself as a social entrepreneur. He wants to improve living conditions in Dharavi, starting with medical care.
What we've done is we are providing state-of-the-art facilities for health, and we've tied up with All India Association of Day Surgeons. We are saying that the slum dwellers must get the same facility as the mainstream people get, state-of-the-art. And we've got tied up with almost all the major players for health, income, knowledge, environment, and socio-cultural development. This is going to be the first eco-housing criteria suburb of India, where we are talking of recycling water, recycling solid waste, lots of green open spaces, playgrounds for children, all of that.
Metha and his team of architects have been working on their plans for Dharavi for 10 years. They want to tear down the huts and house residents in 7-story high-rises. It's one of the most ambitious urban planning projects in India.
So the whole project is about 2.9 billion US dollars on about 239 hectares of land, and we expect to finish it in about 4 to 7 years.
Building is set to begin in just a few months, says Metha. 90% of Dharavi's residents apparently support the project. But Priyanka's mother, Karunai, doesn't believe that's true.
So Mukesh Metha must be benefiting out of it. Being an architect, he must be benefiting. Otherwise, no. We people don't go with the statement.
And do you want to leave?
From this place? No. We don't want to leave.
Karunai knows she could sell her house for a good price.
The land area has increased. Like tremendously, it has been increased for the last 6 months to 1 year. It has been increased like anything.
Dharavi is situated next to Mumbai's new banking district, Bandrakola, where rents have gone up 58% in the last 12 months alone. Moreover, Dharavi is sandwiched between Mumbai's main suburban railway lines and freeways, making it one of the most accessible and central parts of the city. International investors would love to get their hands on it. Architect Mukesh Metha is well aware that Dharavi could be worth billions. His plan is to get the investors to finance its redevelopment.
We prepare a master plan like this. Now, we divided Dharavi into 5 sectors, which I'll show you. And we are telling the developer that whoever lived over here, you must accommodate them here. Along with that, we'll give you some rights to sell. So some building rights to sell. You sell that and you make your money. And along with that, you must do all the infrastructure. And you must also give government some premium, because you'll make lots of profit. So part of that profit must be given to the government.
But where does that leave the people who live in Dharavi? Many of them have turned for advice to the National Association of Slum Dwellers, which has its doubts about Metha's project.
Where are the people are going to live when you're going to do your development? You are going to live in the air? Or are they going to go out of Bombay? Or are they going to out of Dharavi? Nobody knows. It is not, in European terms, this is shifting a city within a city.
But Joachim Aputam knows that something has to change in Dharavi.
Could be a good example.
At best, there's one toilet for 1,400 people. And his organization is currently working on improving sanitary facilities. Priyanka and her family are fortunate enough to have a toilet in their house. Right now, that house is worth 25,000 euros. By next month, the value will probably have doubled.